Good morning, comrades. So today let's talk about expropriation without compensation and the role of international law in the implementation of that provision. So as we know that most parties, especially progressive parties or progressive forces, are saying that we have to implement expropriation without compensation so that South African citizens can have land for purposes of distributing land to them, right? So as we know that there is a section in the Constitution that allows for that to happen, which is to expropriate land without compensation. However, one of the things that are not discussed enough is the role of international law in the implementation of that, especially the BITs, which are bilateral investment treaties. One might ask themselves, what are bilateral investment? Bilateral investment treaties are agreements between two states that provide investors' rights as well as a mechanism for dispute resolutions. So let's find out then what are the provisions that are contained in these bilateral investment treaties. So the provisions that are contained in these treaties is that number one, the rights of the investor are protected. There's a mechanism that is provided to protect them or for dispute resolution, and it also guarantees fair treatment in issues where there is conflict and all of that. Then what are the impacts of these bilateral investment treaties in land reform, specifically or especially in South Africa? Number one, we will face legal challenges. Number two, we won't be able to unilaterally make significant changes such as implementing the act without having to consider the rights or the repercussions like legal disputes or dispute resolution or arbitration of some kind. So we have to be ensured that we keep that in mind whenever we implement that. What has South Africa done so far? So between the years of 2008 to 2010, South Africa has amended some of these bilateral investment treaties and also negotiating some of them as well as withdrawing some of them. And some of those treaties that they are withdrawing with the European countries. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that in as much as we want land distribution in South Africa, but we need to be cognizant and keep in mind that there is international hindrances that can hinder the effective implementation of land distribution and the implementation of Section 25, which is expropriation without compensation. So it's very important to not neglect international law, because in as much as we might fight amongst ourselves and think, let's expropriate, but you'll find that the problem is not with the domestic law. The problem is with the external influence and everyone that is, having a certain the mistakes that we've done, because we know that post 1990, apartheid, we've made